Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. I have to report to you an astounding set of successes. We have 4 full-time students, as well as a part-time student who comes in for the history and science lectures, and while the other kids are on lunch recess, he learns formal logic. I have here a journal of my daily ongoings at the school. As an example, math, Day 1, Tabitha's doing well with addition, but I gave her a subtraction test which is on the level of the addition test I gave her. She should have been able to do them if she's learning them concurrently, because they're the same level test. But she was absolutely clueless about what subtraction was. So the next day I made up a subtraction sheet for her called Introduction to Subtraction, and she's doing just fine on it, and she's done that a couple days in a row, done just fine. Caden comes to me with the assertion from his teacher that they might get to multiplication at the end of the year. Caden's never heard of division and doesn't know anything about that. We started him on multiplication and carrying. He can now multiply massive large numbers, and he can do division. He's been introduced to that and finds that just normal. He says this is the same as multiplication. Bingo! I don't know why they don't teach it that way in the schools. Today we took the speed of light, and I said miles per, and everyone said hour. Nope, I said second. So I said let's figure out how many miles it goes in a minute. And so I had him do the problem and multiply it out by hand on board. He might get introduced to multiplication by the end of the year, said the teacher. Here we are a week later, and he's multiplying the speed of light times 60 and getting an answer. And then I said, well, what about per hour then? Because that's just per minute. So then he multiplied that times 60, and then all you have to do is multiply that times 24 to get the day, and he was done with it at that point. But pretty funny. They move them so slow in the schools. A week is all it takes. Human hasn't been introduced to division. He's a year under Caden, so he shouldn't even be learning division, not for probably 2 more years. He picks right up on it. It's fine with him. Started a vocabulary list today. Today we had a little bit of a test. Here are a couple of the questions on the test. And it was a total surprise to everybody in the class, sort of. I didn't really tell them it was coming. I've told them to take some notes here and there, but mostly I just wanted them to get a clue of what tests are going to be like. This first week has been fun and intense. We've done a lot. But here's 10 questions. I just gave them 10 questions. I said, name 3 scientists we've talked about, and they couldn't name any of multiple scientists. Question number 2, how thick is Earth's atmosphere? Now, we belabored the point. The Earth is 8,000 miles in diameter, and the atmosphere gets thin on top of Mount Everest, doesn't it, which is 5 miles up. So think of this as 8,000 miles. What's 5 scale miles on this globe? It's very close. But commercial jets, maybe they fly at around 7 miles. There are military jets that fly up to 90 miles up in the atmosphere. So this is 8,000 miles. So let's just round it to 100 and say, where would 100 miles up on this globe be? And I have a little pad of post-it notes, which would be thicker, much thicker than 100 miles. In fact, the spaceship, the space shuttle, which orbits at about 220 miles, would be about right here. This is about how thick, how far above the surface the space shuttle would be. So half that is where the top military airplanes fly. In other words, we live in a blanket of air really about as thick as any thread plucked out of your shirt and run across the surface. That's the thickness of the atmosphere. They could have given me any number of explanations or answers, up to a paragraph explaining the relative size or something. So I have, a range to choose from in their answer. How thick is the atmosphere? Number 3, what is a planet? Number 4, what is a star? Number 5, what is a galaxy? Okay, that's from science. Because I'm starting them with the history of science on the one hand, but on the other hand, I'm telling them the neighborhood that they live in. I'm saying these are the M-Vem-Jason P, these are the planets, these are the order they come in. All of our planets go around one star, which is in one corner of the Milky Way. The Milky Way is a galaxy. I show them picture book after picture book, National Geographic, picture books of Hubble's shots and stuff. I tell them about all these places where there's lots of stars being born in vast clouds and stuff, to try to get their head around where they are. Number 6, what is a polis? P-O-L-I-S. Polis is the Greek word for city-state. The Acropolis, right? Polis, it's fine. So I told them this is the Greek word for city-state, and I said we get police and politics from this. So number 7 is name 2 words we get from polis. Number 8, where did the first cities arise? And what I was looking for was Egypt or Mesopotamia or along major rivers. Number 9, what country is north of the United States of America? One of them answered South America, one of them answered India, so that just lets me know we need to prioritize some things. What country first discovered the earth is round? That's number 10. Someone put India. Most of them got it's Greece. That's fine. And today we assigned the vocabulary words: planet, orbit, galaxy, and star. They are on the vocabulary list, as well as, I didn't think this, the kids wanted it on there, so we put it on there. M-Vem-Jason P. M-V-E-M-J-S-U-N-P. The planets. I know, Pluto's not a planet. I know. I just have one problem. The 4 full-time students I'm not getting paid anything for. 3 of them are nieces, or pardon me, 3 of them are nephews and a niece, and one of them is the nephew-niece's neighbor kid, a neighbor. So they're all attending free of charge, because otherwise I wouldn't have any students at all. But now I expect things to be picking up quicker and quicker, I hope. The one part-time student who comes for logic and the other 2, he is paying me $10 a day. That's my current income, at $10 a day from this tutoring business, plus donations, plus working on the tractor. So I appreciate tuition assistance if you can. It's very much still appreciated. With the fact that I'm moving these kids ahead this quickly, this is the first week, so this is day 5 update. Kids who weren't supposed to learn division for 2 years are doing it every morning without a problem. Kids who weren't supposed to learn multiplication for a year are doing massive multiplication figures. Math is my weak subject, so imagine what I'm teaching them in history and science that they've never heard of or conceived. So I appreciate your support. I'm not going to buy a Lamborghini or a leather coat soon, but it's nice if I don't have to get an extra job in the sandwich shop to help educate these kids. I don't think I will, because like I say, with the speed picking up like this, getting the kids to know this much this quickly, and I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I should definitely have paying students, good paying students, $10 a day, full-time students. I was going to take more footage of the kids answering some questions and stuff, and I will. I've got so many videos on there that I'm just not going to get around. They're just not going to be edited and put up. They would be interesting for the pedagogical purposes, for people to see how I teach certain concepts and ideas. But later on, I will do longer versions of those, I'm sure, I think. Some people said, Mr. Cropper, you're going to open a private school, but it's going to be for nothing but smart, brilliant, privileged kids. Well, my first 4 students are from underprivileged families which couldn't pay anything. So that's my argument against that. No, it's not a privileged situation. It's just a conceptual situation.